They are telling me that once I have experienced this level of love, I can always go back to it instantly when I want to. Anyone who comes in contact with this concept can absorb it, release it, and tune into it again whenever needed. They're saying that there is no time, even on the earth level. We perceive time, but actually there is no time. So we can be outside of time in this pure golden level of love at any time we perceive it to be so. My lessons have been learned for the day. They took me through the experience to learn in every cell of my body. What an experience it has been. Now I must say goodbye to my friends for the time being, but they say that there is no such things as goodbye, since we are always together in this level of consciousness. I must go back into the time zone. They are reaching out and touching me. It feels so good. It's like a wonderful hug. Now my little animal friend is giving me a lick on the hand. Suddenly I have my travel suit on again. I'm starting to float. They told me to push the next button, which returns me to my regular state of consciousness. I feel myself coming back, swirling through space and shifting consciousness. I'm back on my platform. I'm ready to come back. Ram, how do you feel? Very good and relaxed. My feet are tingling. Chapter 13. Control the foods you eat. It never occurred to me that my invisible helpers would reprimand me or Bob. They always work with us so patiently, taking time to work with any situations, often physical, that might stand in the way of our having productive sessions. Perhaps they followed us up Afron Mountain for our Howard Johnson specials after our sessions. If so, we were in trouble. I could blame our good friend George Durante for the many goodies he would ask us to sample from the kitchen, but Bob succeeded in convincing George to work full-time with him as his farm manager shortly after we started our Explorer sessions, so I can't blame George. When Bob moved his operation from Whistlefield Farm to the 600 acres of new land, George took on more extensive duties. In fact, George should be called Bob's dream manager, since he was the main factor that helped Bob's dreams in his new location become a reality. Bob would have an idea such as building a fence in a certain spot, and George would manifest it. But sometimes George would have to unmanifest it until Bob decided for sure what he wanted. In fact, George was so patient with Bob's somewhat flexible energies that he should really be called St. George. George has been with Bob longer than any other associate and still remains at the Institute, helping to keep the physical realities of the new land intact. I've always felt that George was the cement that has held the Institute together all these years. He is somewhat like my invisible helpers, always there, but not seeking recognition for his many accomplishments. Bob, of course, recognized George's commitment to his work, and one day threw a very special surprise thank you party to express appreciation for his invaluable contribution to the Institute's success. I want to thank George, too. If not for St. George, our sessions wouldn't have run nearly as smoothly. George was even there to help recharge our car batteries when we parked too close to the check unit 2 during a high-energy session. Thanks, George. The day Bob and I were reprimanded by our invisible friends came 2 weeks after the beginning of the year. Maybe they waited 2 weeks after New Year's Day, hoping we might eventually make some resolutions, but we didn't. And with this result, ROMC. I'm lying here trying to figure out what is going on. The new sound that you have, Bob, I think has affected me differently. I feel nothing happening. However, I hear a voice that said, unless you are really willing to work with us on some serious disciplines, we are going to have to withdraw from working with you. Ram, ask them what they mean. I hear the words, we are trying to get across the point that you must get into the right balance within your systems. With the right energy balance, you can be in contact with other dimensions at any time. There are many dimensions around and within. It is a matter of being in the right state of consciousness to come into the proper communication with them. The goal should be to keep the channels open at all times, to be in constant communication. Certain things cut off communication. One is cutting off the vital energies that help produce the right state of consciousness. The message that we want to get across to both of you is that if you take this work seriously, you should be willing to work carefully with your own vehicles and your own energy systems by following disciplines. You must follow the disciplines that you know within yourselves are the important ones to help accomplish the work that is to be done. It is important to set an example to yourself as much as to everyone else. It is not important to be concerned about what others think. It is important to be in control of and to be respectful of your own decision-making process. Ram, yes, we have been remiss in not understanding this. We will certainly attempt to change the pattern. It can be done in a slow process. You will find that the body has its habits as well. The body is a separate being in and of itself. It gets used to certain habits and types of foods, which make change difficult. When you give up things that you have taken into your system for many years, craving will occur. To switch habits creates a withdrawal that is not easy for your bodies. It is important to take on one main discipline at a time and to stick to it. Do not take on more disciplines than you can achieve. You will overload your system in trying to put too many changes upon it at once. Ram, is there one critical food that is most detrimental to our systems? The problem is with the amount of food that is taken in. Also, the important foods to eat are the natural foods, foods that have not been tampered with by humans. Artificial ingredients that enhance a food's taste and appearance are detrimental to the energy system. Many of the diseases that are a part of the modern life on the earth come through the foods that have artificial man-made ingredients. What happens is that the energy balance in the food is thrown off, and important vitamins are often destroyed. The artificial ingredients, in turn, throw the energy balance off within the body. Many people in societies such as yours, where there is plenty, are victims of vitamin deprivation and starvation, even though there is plenty to eat. The body becomes starved for its natural sources of energy. If it is not satisfied, disease sets in. Disease occurs when the body gets out of balance. The mind and emotions also have a great deal to do with the energy imbalance and disease. An important rule to follow is to seek the natural flow of energies. Natural food, your own natural flow of energies, your own natural thoughts. Stay away from the artificial, that which is not in tune with your energies, food-wise and thought-wise. This also includes humans. Do not let artificial humans have control over your life. Anything that is artificial is not in touch with its own energies. Ram, what foods are especially good for the system? Fresh juices are excellent for the system. It is good to cleanse the system with fresh juices. Citrus juices are especially helpful to the body. The body can receive natural sugar through all types of fruits. In your society, dyes and sprays are put on the fruits. Therefore, it is important to cleanse carefully everything that you eat. It is preferable to eat foods that have not been dyed or sprayed. If this is not possible, careful cleansing is important. Back to the amount of food taken into the system. Those who tend to eat from an emotional level often take foods into the body to overcompensate for emotional deprivation.